If just the first few minutes of the morning could shape your entire day, what would happen if you chose to live differently from the moment you wake up? Before notification sounds break the silence. Before familiar worries pull the mind back to yesterday. Morning always opens a rare pause, a space that has not yet been touched by pressure. In Buddhism, this moment is seen as a doorway, a place where you can choose how to step into the new day. Many people wake up and let the world lead them. Unread messages, unfinished work. The mind reacts before it has a chance to arrive. The body is awake, yet inside it is still running after the past and fearing the future. When the morning begins this way, the entire day often unfolds in tension. But there is another path, a path that begins with intention, with pausing long enough to notice that you are breathing and that you are here. A small ritual, a gentle return. There is no need to force positivity, only enough awareness to avoid being carried away. If you are here, there is a good chance you are also looking for a calmer way to begin your morning. Affirmation 1. Waking up and returning to the present moment. I am waking up. I am breathing. And that is enough. Many people open their eyes in the morning, yet their minds have already traveled far away. Before the body has a chance to fully leave sleep, thoughts rush toward unfinished tasks. Old worries return as if the night never truly ended. We wake up in the body, but arrive late to the very moment we are living. That is why exhaustion appears even before the new day has truly begun. According to the teachings of the Buddha, suffering does not come from circumstances, but from the mind not being where the body is present. When the body is here and the mind is elsewhere, we lose the natural steadiness that already belongs to us. Mindfulness is not about forcing positive thoughts or pushing thoughts away. Mindfulness is simply returning to the body, noticing the breath moving in and out, and knowing that you are here. Morning is the easiest time to return because the mind is still soft and has not yet been stretched by the pace of life. You do not need to do anything special. You do not need to make plans. You do not need to fix yourself. You only need to pause for a moment and feel the body lying there, sitting there, breathing steadily. Place one hand on your heart, not to control the breath, but to remind yourself that life is clearly present. Breathe in slowly and recognize that you are breathing in. Breathe out gently and know that you are breathing out. In that moment, you do not need to become anyone else. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to reach some future state of peace. Peace begins the moment you decide that this moment is enough. We often postpone ease, waiting for everything to become more perfect. But in Buddhist understanding, wholeness does not come from having more. It comes from no longer resisting the present. When you allow yourself to simply be alive, breathing, and present, the nervous system begins to soften. Anxiety eases. The body finds its grounding again. From that foundation, your entire day can be guided by awareness rather than tension. Affirmation 2. Being gentle with myself. After returning to the breath and feeling the presence of the body, the next thing that needs to be nurtured is the way you speak to yourself. Many people do not realize that their inner voice follows them throughout the entire day. It appears when you first wake up, when you make a mistake, when things do not go as planned, and even when you have already tried your best. If that voice carries blame, tension, and harshness, then no matter how calm the circumstances may be, there is still unrest within. According to the teachings of the Buddha, practice does not begin with fixing yourself. It begins with understanding and embracing what is present. Blame does not create transformation. It only causes the mind to close and gives rise to more suffering. True growth happens only when there is care. Just as a seed grows only when it is watered consistently, not when it is pulled from the soil to be inspected. Take a moment this morning to observe how you usually speak to yourself. When you feel tired, do you blame yourself for being weak? When you forget something small, do you label yourself as careless? When you have not reached what you hoped for, do you tell yourself that you are not good enough? These phrases may feel very familiar, but they are not the truth. They are simply habits that have been repeated for too long. Now try a different way. Sit quietly, place one hand on your heart, and allow the breath to flow naturally. There is no need to adjust it. Simply feel the gentle rhythm unfolding beneath your hand. In that moment, softly tell yourself that you do not need to be perfect today. You only need to show up with kindness. If a critical voice arises, do not push it away. Respond with a more human sentence, that you are learning, that you did the best you could with what you had, that you are allowed to have imperfect days. In Buddhism, compassion is not only for others. It must first be directed toward yourself. You can practice this by breathing in and silently saying, "May I feel peace." As you breathe out, say, "May I feel lighter." Let these words spread through your body like a soft light, wrapping around you like a warm blanket, not to weigh you down, but to remind you that you are safe. When you begin your day with this kind of gentleness, the mind becomes less defensive. You react more slowly, listen more deeply, and are no longer pulled away by small mistakes. Gentleness does not make you weaker. It creates a steady inner space where you can rise after each stumble without harming yourself. From that foundation, true healing can continue to unfold. Affirmation 3. Actively protecting inner peace. After learning how to be gentle with yourself, you begin to recognize an even more important truth, that your inner state does not depend entirely on what happens outside. Many people believe that their emotions are determined by circumstances, by the words of others, or by unexpected situations throughout the day. But according to the teachings of the Buddha, suffering is not found in the event itself, but in how the mind reacts to the event. Reactions usually happen very quickly. They arise from old habits, from self-protection, from accumulated fear and tension. When someone says something unpleasant, the reaction appears immediately. When traffic slows, when plans change, when a small thing does not go as expected, the mind tightens at once. Reaction takes away our power of choice. It pulls us along before we even realize what is happening inside. Response is different. Response requires a pause, a breath, a moment of awareness. Within that pause, you do not deny the feeling, but you do not allow it to drive your actions. You see discomfort present, but you do not identify yourself with it. This is where freedom begins to appear. Morning is the best time to plant this seed. Before stepping into the new day, remind yourself that your peace begins inside you. You may quietly say that today, you will not give your peace to things you cannot control. This sentence is not meant to resist the world, but to remind the mind to return to its steady place. As you move through the day and meet familiar situations, practice directly within daily life. If someone behaves impatiently, first notice your breath. If work encounters a problem, pause for a moment instead of reacting immediately. A single slow breath is often enough to keep the mind from being carried away. In that moment, you are choosing response over reaction. In Buddhist understanding, mindfulness is not separate from everyday life. It is present in each small choice. When you choose not to react out of habit, you are taking responsibility for your inner state. This responsibility is not a burden. It is a source of strength. Because when you know that you have the ability to choose how you feel and how you act, you are no longer a victim of circumstances. Today may still contain challenges, but each time you return to the breath and remind yourself that peace begins within, you are laying the foundation for a day lived with greater intention, clarity, and gentleness. Affirmation 4. Becoming a source of calm energy. Once you have learned how to protect your own inner peace, the next step on the path of practice is to carry that peace out into the world. In the teachings of the Buddha, mindfulness does not stop at finding calm only for oneself. It expands into the way we show up in life, within family, work, and society. True peace is not something we hold tightly inside. It is a current that flows outward through the way we speak, the way we listen, and the way we act. Each morning, Before stepping out of your private space, you can ask yourself what you wish to carry into the new day. Do you carry haste or do you carry calm? Do you carry tension or do you carry clarity? When you quietly remind yourself that today you choose to be a source of calm energy, you are setting a gentle intention for the entire day. Not to be perfect, but to avoid unconsciously spreading unrest. Imagine your mind as a quiet lantern. It does not shine harshly. It does not seek attention. It simply gives off a steady and warm light. When you enter a room, that light does not need to convince anyone of anything. It simply exists, and that presence alone is enough to soften dark corners. In family life, a slower tone of voice can change the atmosphere of an entire morning. At work, a composed attitude can cool a tense situation. In society, a kind glance can remind someone that they are not alone. Much of the tension in life does not come from the problem itself, but from the energy people bring into the problem. When we rush, our voices become sharp. When we worry, our actions become rigid. But when we hold peace within, the way we respond changes. Not because the situation has changed, but because the energy we bring has changed. To nurture this quality, Buddhism teaches metta, loving kindness. Metta is not a passing emotion. It is a way of being. It is the quiet wish that may I be at ease, and may others also be at ease. You can practice metta from the very morning. As you breathe in, silently say, may I feel peace. As you breathe out, say, may those I meet today feel peace. There is no need to visualize details. Simply place the intention in the heart. When you meet your family members, remember that each person carries their own concerns. A gentle sentence can help them begin the day more easily. When you step into work, recognize that everyone is doing their best in their own way. Instead of reacting with irritation, try to listen. Even when you must say something difficult, a calm manner can preserve respect. Peace has a very special quality. It spreads. When one person remains composed, those around them often slow down as well. When one person does not respond with tension, the spiral of unrest begins to weaken. This is not something mystical. It is the way human nervous systems influence one another. One peaceful person can become an invisible anchor for an entire group. However, becoming a source of calm energy does not mean you will never feel irritation. There will be moments of fatigue, frustration, or impatience. What matters is not avoiding these feelings, but noticing them early. When you feel tightness in the shoulders, heat in the chest, or heaviness in the belly, these are signs to pause. One deep breath, one moment of silence. You do not need to fix the emotion. You only need to avoid letting it guide your actions. Throughout the day, remember that every small choice shapes the energy you bring into the world. When you choose to speak more slowly, you plant a seed of peace. When you choose to listen instead of interrupting, you create a sense of safety. When you choose not to speak harshly, you keep the inner lantern from dimming. As the day comes to an end, take a few minutes to look back, not to judge yourself, but to observe. Notice the moments when you maintained calm. Notice the moments when tension took the lead. Acknowledge the times you chose to pause, to breathe, to be gentle. For the moments you could not, simply notice and let them go. Tomorrow is a new opportunity. In the teachings of the Buddha, practice is an ongoing process. Each day, we return and remind ourselves of our original intention. When you choose to be a source of calm energy, you not only make your own life lighter, you help soften the world around you, not by changing others, but by changing the way you are present. And from that presence, quiet healing begins to spread. Affirmation 5. All that I seek resides within me. After learning how to become a source of calm energy for the world around you, you may begin to recognize an even deeper truth that many of the things you search for outside have never truly left you. People often begin the morning with a vague sense of lack, a lack of safety, a lack of worth, a lack of recognition. Even when it is not spoken aloud, the mind quietly urges that we need more, need to become more, need to achieve something before we can finally feel at ease. In Buddhism, this state is known as craving. It is not only the desire for material things, but the feeling that what is here now is not enough. This feeling drives us forward without rest. We seek validation from others. We seek a sense of control. We seek reassurance that we are moving in the right direction. Yet the more we search, the more exhausted we become. Not because what we seek is far away, but because we are looking in the wrong place. The Buddha taught that the deepest nature of each human being is already whole. Not because we are perfect, but because life itself is fully present within us. What covers this sense of wholeness are layers of conditioning, comparison, fear, and doubt. We do not need to create a new self. We only need to recognize and gently remove these coverings. Imagine your mind as the surface of a lake. When the wind rises, the water ripples and reflections become distorted. Yet beneath the surface, the water remains still. The stillness has never disappeared. Or imagine a diamond buried beneath thick layers of soil. The diamond does not lose its value because it is covered. It is simply unseen for a time. You are the same. You are not broken. You are only covered by too many layers of fatigue and old beliefs. When you say that all that you seek resides within you, you are not denying the needs of daily life. You are shifting your point of grounding. Instead of beginning the day from a sense of lack, you begin from a sense of enough. From there, your actions become lighter. You work not to prove your worth, but to express your abilities. You connect with others not to fill an emptiness, but to share presence. A simple morning practice is to sit quietly for a few minutes before reaching for your phone. Place your hand on your lap or on your heart. Breathe slowly and deeply. With each in-breath, remind yourself that you are here. With each out-breath, release the idea that you must become someone else. Silently say that you are enough in this moment. Not to convince yourself, but to allow a different possibility to open. During the day, when challenges arise, try turning inward before seeking answers outside. When faced with a difficult decision, ask which part of you is calm enough to see clearly. When you feel lost, ask what within you still remains steady. The answer may not always be clear, but the act of returning inward is already an important step. Self-reliance in Buddhism does not mean isolation. You may still seek support, advice, and companionship. But the starting point has changed. You no longer see yourself as someone lacking who needs to be filled, but as someone with a solid foundation who is learning to listen more deeply. From there, what you receive from others becomes nourishment rather than rescue. Another practice to support this understanding is journaling. Each morning, write down one quality you know you already carry. It may be patience, the ability to listen, or compassion. It does not need to be grand, it only needs to be honest. Naming these qualities helps the mind recognize that you are not starting from nothing. You carry a storehouse of experience and wisdom shaped through many years of living. In Buddhism, suffering arises when we forget our true nature and chase the illusion that happiness lies ahead. When you remember that you are already enough, craving begins to settle. You may still have dreams, but they no longer pull you forward. Relentlessly, you may still make effort, but you no longer deny yourself along the way. There will be days when the sense of lack returns. This does not mean you have failed. It is simply a reminder to come back. Sit down, breathe, and remind yourself that you are not broken. You are only covered. Each time you return to presence, you gently wipe away another layer of dust. And from there, the wholeness that has always been yours slowly reveals itself again, quietly and steadily. As the day slowly comes to a close, take a quiet moment to return to what you planted in the morning. You reminded yourself that you were awake, that you were breathing, and that this alone was enough to begin. You chose to treat yourself with gentleness, instead of allowing old critical voices to continue guiding the mind. You remembered that your emotions are a choice, that peace does not belong to other people or to external circumstances. You chose to become a source of calm energy, not only for yourself, but for everyone you encountered throughout the day. And you returned to the deeper truth that everything you seek already exists within you. These phrases are not slogans to be repeated mechanically. They are gentle reminders that help the mind remember its direction. Perhaps today you were able to live them, and perhaps there were moments when you forgot. That is completely okay. The path of practice is not about perfection, but about the ability to return again and again. Before drifting into sleep, slow your breathing and allow the body to rest. There is no need to judge today as good or bad. Simply know that you were present. Tomorrow, when the sun rises, you will have another chance to begin. If these practices have brought you even a small sense of ease, continue to return to them. And if you wish, stay here with us, in this space created to nurture peace, one breath at a time.